Picture this. You're out shopping. You pick up something for yourself. Nothing crazy, maybe a nicer bag of coffee or a jacket you've looked at 3 times. And right on cue, a small voice pipes up. Do you really need this? That's wasteful. Maybe later. You put it back. And the moment your empty hand leaves the shelf, a wave of relief washes over you. But watch what happens 5 minutes later. You meet a friend for lunch, and without a second thought, you grab the check to cover the table. Or you buy a gift for your kids. No hesitation. Spending on others feels generous. Spending the exact same amount of money on yourself feels selfish. Same money, completely different feeling. This guilt has nothing to do with the price tag or your bank balance. People struggling to make ends meet feel it, and those with substantial savings feel it just as strongly. This is a psychological reflex, triggered by how our brains are wired rather than the numbers in our accounts. Once you see the hidden rules driving it, it loses its grip. Financial psychologist Brad Klontz calls our first hidden rule a money script. Long before you understood what money actually was, you were absorbing unconscious rules about it from the adults around you. If you watched a parent tense up every time a bill arrived, or you got praised for being the kid who never asks for anything, your young brain quietly wrote a rule. Wanting things is dangerous, or selfish, or both. Then there is the scarcity mindset. Researchers Senthil Mullaning found that a period of financial tightness locks the nervous system into a permanent protect mode. The trouble is that this mode does not switch off just because your situation improved. The bank statement says you're safe. Your body never got the memo. We also have to factor in standard human wiring. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman proved that the biological pain of losing money is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. When you spend on yourself, your brain feels the loss loudly and the gain faintly. That imbalance is the guilt you feel in real time. For many, spending is silently tied to deserving. Notice the word we use to justify buying ourselves a coffee or a pair of shoes. I had a hard week, so I bought it. It was on sale, so I got it. That little "so" is the tell. It reveals a belief that our own comfort sits at the bottom of the priority list. If you were the easy child, the low-maintenance one who never needed much, that became part of how you earned approval. Being the person who doesn't need things can quietly become a role. The moment you spend freely on yourself, that role wobbles. Your identity tugs you back into the shape people are used to. Finally, there is the social mirror. We are social animals, and we're always checking what a purchase says about us to the group. Buying something visible, like a new phone or a car, can trigger 2 fears at once: looking like you're showing off, or feeling like a fraud who shouldn't have nice things anyway. These triggers, inherited scripts, scarcity, loss aversion, show that the guilt isn't a rational financial calculation. It is an outdated biological and social survival response, actively hijacking your brain at the checkout counter. Guarding every dollar from yourself might feel responsible. It even feels mature, but it carries a massive long-term cost. You can be mathematically secure on paper, yet never actually feel it. You end up with all the stress of earning the money and none of the benefit. You're the host who cooks the entire meal and never sits down to eat. Constant self-denial acts like a pressure valve filling up. It isn't free, it builds tension. And eventually that pressure breaks the wrong way. The sudden, impulsive splurge that's messier than anything you'd have chosen calmly. Then the guilt comes roaring back, and the cycle of deprivation pulls even tighter. Quiet deprivation and reckless spending are 2 sides of the same unhealed coin. This internal cycle eventually leaks outward. People who never spend on themselves often start to feel quietly bitter toward partners who do enjoy their money, or toward the friends they keep giving to. You also hand it down. Kids don't learn money from lectures. They learn by watching you flinch. Your money script becomes theirs, the exact anxiety that was handed to you. This leads to the deepest trap, the belief that having less, wanting less, and taking less makes you a better person. But self-neglect is not a virtue, and an empty cup helps no one. The goal is to tell the difference between an automatic guilt reflex and your actual present-day values. To do that, you only need to ask one question the next time you're holding an item in a store. Is this purchase aligned with what I value, or am I just obeying an old rule? If it's an old rule talking, a voice saying good people shouldn't need things, you can think it and let the purchase happen anyway. If it genuinely doesn't match your values, skip it, but do it from a place of clarity, not from a place of deprivation. Then try a reframe. Stop treating personal spending as an unearned indulgence and start treating it as essential maintenance. You wouldn't feel guilty putting fuel and oil in a car you depend on every single day. You are the engine of your whole life. The time-saving tool, the rest that prevents burnout, or the skill that grows you. These function as upkeep on the one asset everything else runs on, you. Here is a simple practice to start with. Pick one small, values-aligned thing this week. Buy it on purpose. Notice the guilt without obeying it. You're teaching your nervous system a new rule, that it is safe and allowed to receive from your own money. Money is a tool for a life, and your life is allowed to be included in that. Letting yourself receive from it isn't selfish. It's permission you're allowed to give yourself. Next time, we'll look at why a raise never seems to feel like enough.